The old bell tower of Street, Augustine Church rang ominously as the wind howled through the trees. The sky was overcast, the clouds thick and heavy, promising rain. It was supposed to be a perfect day, a celebration of love, but an eerie stillness hung in the air, an unshakable sense of foreboding. Daniel stood at the altar, his hands clammy, his heart pounding not from nerves but from an unexplainable dread that had gripped him. The moment he stepped into the church, he had been waiting for this day for so long. The guests whispered among themselves as the doors creaked open. A hush fell over the church. There she was, Evelyn, dressed in an immaculate white gown, her veil flowing behind her like a ghostly mist. The candle flames flickered violently as if protesting her presence. The air grew thick, suffocating, yet Daniel couldn't tear his eyes away from her. She walked slowly, unnaturally so, as if she were gliding rather than stepping. Her face remained hidden behind the veil. With every step she took, the church seemed to darken. The stained glass windows, once vibrant, dimmed into dull, lifeless colors. When Evelyn finally stood before Daniel, the priest cleared his throat uneasily, wiping sweat from his brow. "We are gathered here today." His voice trembled, the words barely audible over the deafening silence. Daniel reached out to lift Evelyn's veil, his fingers trembling. As he did, the church doors slammed shut with a force that sent a gust of wind rushing through the aisles. The candles blew out. A single streak of lightning illuminated the church, and Evelyn's face was revealed. A collective gasp erupted from the guests. Daniel stumbled back, his breath caught in his throat. The woman before him was not the Evelyn he knew. Her once beautiful face was now a grotesque mask of decay, her skin cracked and peeling, her lips blackened, her eyes hollow sockets that leaked thick, inky tears. Her mouth stretched into an unnatural grin, revealing rows of jagged, yellowed teeth. Daniel tried to scream, but no sound came out. His body was frozen, locked in place by an invisible force. Evelyn, or the thing wearing her form, tilted her head, her skeletal fingers reaching out to touch his face. "My love," she crooned, her voice a chilling whisper. "I waited for you." The air grew impossibly cold, breath misting in the eerie silence. The guests began to back away, their faces pale with terror. Some bolted for the doors, but they would not open. The windows remained sealed. They were trapped. The priest clutched his crucifix, his voice cracking as he recited prayers. But Evelyn only laughed, the sound distorted and unnatural. The church began to tremble. The floorboards creaked and split open, revealing an abyss of darkness beneath. Daniel, tears streaming down his face, shook his head violently. "Evelyn, this isn't real! She stepped closer, her icy fingers trailing down his cheek. "Do you not remember our promise?" Memories flooded Daniel's mind. A dream, no. A nightmare he had long forgotten. A night spent in a derelict mansion, where Evelyn had dared him to prove his love. A ceremony whispered in the dark, vows exchanged beneath the gaze of something unseen. He had laughed then, thinking it was just a game. But now, standing before her, the realization clawed at him. It had not been a game. "You promised me forever," she hissed. The church groaned as the shadows lengthened, twisting into clawed hands that reached for the guests, pulling them into the darkness. Screams echoed, but Evelyn's gaze never left Daniel's. He tried to run, but the ground beneath him crumbled, pulling him down into the abyss with her. The doors burst open as the storm raged outside. By the time the villagers arrived, the church was empty. No guests, no priest, no bride or groom, only the flickering candlelight and the faint scent of decay lingering in the air. And on the altar, a single wedding band lay, rusted and covered in dust.